Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's having a great weekend. So, I looked at chapter 4 and chapter 5 and the similarities that the English teacher and the mathematics teacher had in common. And the one thing that kept popping into mind was they started the lesson with something engaging, something that made the students think. So, with the English teacher, she had them connecting their writing to a science unit. And so she started Writer's Workshop, and that includes what's called modeling. And once I read through her scenario, I just kept going back to modeling, engaging, having a read aloud or a mentor text to really engage the students into exactly what she wanted them to learn. And then not only did she model, she went around to double check what everyone knew, what they were incorporating, and then if they didn't know, she would kind of guide their thinking to help them. And so when I went over to chapter 5 and looked at the mathematics teacher, she had the similar idea. She modeled the Tootsie Rolls and the Hershey bars. She had something engaging for them to kind of really think about and to be able to apply their learning and knowledge by using the, not KWL, but the, oh, KWC, the what do I know for sure, what am I trying to figure out, and then special conditions, which I thought was interesting to be able to use a graphic organizer. So again, she modeled, and so as well as the writing teacher modeled. And I feel that's extremely important when it comes to teaching our students is we model what we want them to learn. We gauge and guide their thinking by asking those critical thinking questions, making sure before they go off into their independent work time, we are asking the questions, giving feedback, discussing with them, having them work in partners before we just let them off or let them go off and work independently. And so what I noticed with each teacher again was just that whole modeling piece, but they made sure to look for those students that maybe struggled a little bit or didn't quite understand. And so they made sure to go back to that group of students or go back to that specific student and kind of help them along. And I thought that was a great thing for both of them to do. And I feel that we can do that in any content area is model what we want them to learn. We model by giving examples. We model by using read alouds or mentor texts, giving think alouds, whatever that may look like in your classroom. We can do that across every single content area. And I know that just for the fact that my district does it. My team does that. And so it may not be what's called writer's workshop, which I do, but I know in science, he has a little mini lesson. He models their thinking. He models what is expected of them. And we have high expectations, just like both of the teachers in chapter 4 and 5. They have high expectations, and they didn't let the students go with just the wrong answers. They made sure that the students understood what they were learning. And it's okay to struggle, but it's not okay to just send them off and just let them think that they're right when they're wrong. But I do believe that every content area can do this type of learning and teaching. That way we can best help all of our learners, all of our students, and the best ability that we know how. So definitely it was an eye opener just for the fact that sometimes we don't think that we can do it across the content areas until we actually see it applied or read about it. And then we're like, oh, well, that makes sense. And that's how I felt. I was like, well, yeah, I see that in every one of our classrooms. And I'm on a part of what we call rounds, and I go into different classrooms to observe, not to really criticize the teacher, but I want to see what the students are learning. And that goes along with modeling. And so I thought it was just very interesting, eye opening, and I learned a lot from just reading these two different content area teachers.